Hello and welcome to the preview of a Racing for Chelmsford Stakes Day at Randwick. Aaron Macy, hello.
How are you, Dallas?
Very well. We're short Mark Lambourne, who is away for the weekend, but we will do our best to decipher the card. Firstly, the big news is at Randwick, 20 to 30 mils of unexpected rain overnight has changed things around immensely. That's overnight on Thursday night.
Yeah, I've done about 7 hours of form on the meeting. It's just about to be half thrown in the bin and start again, so it'll be interesting.
All right, lovely. Now, as we said, the big key to what happens with this meeting, Aaron, is what is happening with the track. We're here at Randwick, so why don't we go and have a look at it?
Why not? Sounds good.
All right, as we've got the selfie happening here, of course. The first thing we noticed when we walked on it, we're filming this, Friday morning about 10:30 or thereabouts.
Yeah.
Not as wet as we thought. Heavy 9, bit of a breeze about.
I think the breeze could be the key.
Yeah, absolutely. So you can probably hear that in the thing. You see the track's in very good order. And now what I'll get you to do is I'll film you and you can just sort of map out what we talk about now. The lanes are critical. As you can see, this is the 8 metre spot, so there's a bit of a gap here. Working on our lane theory is 8 metres brings it right into there. So where Aaron's pacing out, it's about 3 metres out to where you are. It's about that, a bit further as. About there.
Probably seems the fastest part of the track.
Yeah, there it is. So between where Aaron is and the rail will be the source of most winners, because especially we've got generally slow pace races today. Now this area here, as we walk across, Aaron, you've got to keep up with the camera there, buddy. Over here, this is the no-go zone. This will be slower. It's a lot thicker. People make the mistake a lot of the time looking at tracks saying, oh, this patch of grass is better. But the stronger the grass, the thicker the grass, the more resistance. The fence is going to be 3 lengths better than this section we're in. Now, this is the big play. If we get out here, this is as noticeable, as firm as I've ever felt the out wide lanes. These lanes, and the further we get out, every step Aaron is taking now, Aaron, describe what's happening. It's getting harder and harder. And the outside fence, if you want to grab a hot dog on the way down, you could also grab a prize. Now, as the problem with that is getting out here. That's the problem. It's easier said than done. Horses just can't come out and travel out here. They need to be slingshotted out to it. That's the key.
Yeah, they need to find cover to get out there.
Lovely, and normally race shape does help too, and as we'll say when we get back inside, there's a lot of slow pace races are generally the general thought of the day.
The only thing is, a lot of the jockeys can tend to override it. If they are getting off the fence, these are the lanes that are going to cover.
That's right, yeah. So if they do override it, we just come back over here, and as we've seen many a times before, the jockeys who don't know, i.e. all of them bar Shin and Bowman just about and Gun, they will ride out of the lane and they will ride actually into the worst section of the track, which is here, which then opens up the fence, but then also gets you those few metres closer to out there. If you get out there, you're going to have probably a 3-length advantage on those even on the fence. So that's a 6-length advantage on horses in this no-go zone. So if you can get out there, that is gold. And Aaron, there's a track report. Oh, we should mention, there is still the forecast of some rain overnight, but I would say without rain, this will be a slow track.
Yeah, I'm saying slow, especially with the heat.
With this wind, yeah.
It's blowing the water. You can see it now. It's just blowing the water out of it.
Yeah, lovely. But that little bit of rain tomorrow, we'll update it on the site tomorrow. But that's where we can say that. A new addition to the preview show. Let's go do the form. The fun. David Attenborough series is on Channel 9 this week, and I reckon there's some camera work which is going to rival that, Aaron.
I wouldn't agree.
No. Anyway, well, I think the thing is, if it does, the key is what happens tomorrow with the rain. Really, as we know, rain on race day.
Looks like it's clearing up at the moment.
Yeah, but still that forecast remains of a couple on that. But yeah, as I said, keep an eye on the site, and that'll be the determining factor. But we'll do this to about a slight of heavy range, and that's about a fair play.
Yeah, we'll have to see what happens overnight.
All right, now obviously the first big thing that we need to talk about is the free trials. If you've been an existing customer, if you're a new customer, or if you just want to try out a new product or whatever, now with the launch of the new site, anybody who goes on there now, you get to trial one product of your choice for free and give it a go. It's a pretty fair offer, isn't it? All you got to do is click the free trial tab at the top of the page and pick your product, and away you go.
Beautiful. Does that include Pro Better Live?
Yes, it does. So $99 well, that's probably not a bad one to try out, and give Pro Better Live a try. click on that. You get John Walter's set, you get Darren Potter's set in Melbourne, and Darren is just...
It's the one you kind of get the most value out of. If I was tipping anyone into any of the services, I'd probably go Pro Better Live.
Look, I mean, we've got some great services. The sheer fact of the matter is $99 is too cheap for that.
Oh, I agree.
You know, I mean, it's a new product.
I think if you want to look, so that's the one thing with the trial, you're going to get a taster of a bit of everything.
Yeah, it's a bit of a distillation of it, so give that a try. But right across the board, all the products there, if you're already on that, try another product. Just give it a go. You know, there's lots happening on the site and plenty more, and it keeps on getting better and better every week. So hopefully you're enjoying it. Anyway, give it a go. Well, we've talked about the track, isn't it? The first race is over 2,000 metres. Astronomers $3.70 or thereabouts. These prices might be a little bit wrong because I haven't updated them with any scratchings or anything else like that.
Yeah, a lot of things could change.
Loophole next pick $5 and Orion Love $6.50. What? How are you seeing it?
Speed-wise?
The speed-wise is probably Fraser's leads or Orion Love. Not a lot of. Once again, it's the first of many races without a huge amount of pace.
Yeah, well, it's kind of a race where I wanted to I put lines through a lot of horses, but now going through like a wet track, minimal pace. It's a horse where Fraser's could get a cheeky little run in front.
Yeah, why not? Go Bindi. Welcome back. Yeah.
Go Bindi.
Yeah. Yeah, well, why not? It's fit. It's on pace. It's going to be turning for home and handles the weight. Yeah. So, but then again, if you're tipping Fraser's, you normally should be running right away from the race, shouldn't you?
Yeah, exactly. Look, the horse, it's always been a horse of mine, Astronomer, so I thought its run had merit to it, even though it ran second last the other day. Wrong part of the track, wide, it was there for a barrier trial. It was rather evident. We knew the distance was wrong and everything. Back up the 2000 suits, he's won on the wet tracks. Wet tracks aren't a problem. He's won here at Randwick. He's a lightly raced horse that is up and coming, opposed horses that have proven themselves to be nothing better than this.
Than common, yeah. I think that's the key to it, isn't it? Lightly raced, as you just used. Now, the problem that we have with the lightly racedness to him is that he hasn't faced a race of any pace. Now, this can be good for him to show that he's got a heap of upside, but it also, we've seen many a times that horses that run these big late sections, as soon as they're put under early pressure early, they say that's too tough for me and I can't do that. And until proven otherwise, you don't know one way or the other.
Yeah.
For me, that makes it hard to bet in the race because that lightly raced nature of him. I do think he has one on the wet, but I do think he is going to be his best will be on the dry. That makes it hard to go one way or the other. The horse I did like in the race was Orion Love, and his best is definitely going to be on top of the ground, and I wouldn't be surprised to see him scratched even too. But anyway, Astronomers on the lightly race front.
Orion Love, I definitely had in the numbers. It was one I had in the numbers. If it is getting to more on the better side of the slow, like if we do see the sun come out now, which we are starting to see, and if the rain does stay away, well, it's a horse that I could definitely entertain.
Absolutely, and then the second pick, Loophole. I mean, he's been a bit maligned, but racing as well as he can, and if it is a bit wetter than we think, that's a big tick to him.
Yeah, big tick to him. He's a horse I won't find, and he's probably a horse that's going to beat me.
Yeah, exactly. I find it very hard to find him, but he does bring something. He does bring some aces into this race.
Yep.
All right, lovely. But not overall, from both of our point of view, not a race that we're either really going to be getting too involved with.
No, probably not. One other horse that's an interesting one, that'll be a mounting yard one for me, is if it does look like it's tightened up a lot, is Sassencoal, because he does look running in the wet. It just looked like a nice barrier trial run for his next run. May need one more for a wet 2000, but I think it could be one at odds.
Well, as you know, and a lot of people on the show would probably know that anything from Tony McAvoy Stables normally does do my heading. So yeah. So anyway, an easy start to it, but it is what we're looking at now is a pretty good day's racing. The second race is over the mile. Wine Tails, $3.20. Dragonfly around the $5 mark, and Mr. 111 and Farrellitos about 6 to 1. Pace wise, Aaron, it seems the Dragonfly probably gets a nice comfortable lead in the company of.
I thought Farrellitos could be one.
Farrellitos probably, but
it could be the one that goes up in front.
But you couldn't do it, and Hearns Oak. It looks like Bjorn's trying to get it to settle, but with the slow pace of this race, he's probably just going to naturally be there anyway.
Yeah, he's probably going to be in the box seat somewhere looking for cover.
All right, okay, that's how the pace is going. Well, which means that Wine Tails is again back. Hopefully not too far back, but on an unfavourable race shape again.
Yeah, it does look the unfavourable race for her and the weight. Look, one thing with her at least this time is you do know she's going to be coming down the outside.
Is it going to be wide enough to get to the outside there? Shinny, he'll know.
He'll know, yeah. Oh, look, I think he'll just pull her out. Or if they're coming off the fence, he'll probably try and dart up the inside.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I think the big thing is Bowman and Shin are going to be your friend tomorrow.
Yeah, big time.
So, okay, she's shown that she's come back flying with big late sections, but she's also shown that the problem with her, and many horses like her, is that low percentage play. And it's fantastic to say, I found the horse, I did this and I did that. But at the end of the day, they do find excuses because of their style.
Yeah, look, it was a very interesting race. It was a horse that could have just been ridden. It could have been ridden poorly in the fact of take it out wide. You don't need to. All you had to do was get it wide. And you didn't do it.
I know, but I thought
chance. And we'll get that chance here tomorrow. Whether I want to be on a big weight on a wet track, like those little things are there. It's not a good mental thing for the trainer, I know.
Yeah, that's right. But Shinny doesn't seem to care about 60 kilos.
No, well, one thing with Shin, with the 60 kilos, with Shin, they're not going to be carrying it because they just don't carry the weight. It puts him to sleep.
Yeah, and I think when you say that with the trainer, obviously we've spoken a lot about it throughout the show, is that the mental effect that the big weight has on the trainers and that. But at the end of the day, it's Shin who's out there, and he'll ride it like a horse, I think, rather than be overly protective of it.
It's an interesting point just quickly on that, because we did see last week with Barra Miller, and he put it up to the big weights. And one thing that Waller has said, he goes, "Well, they're rising the weights, but we need to adjust."
Okay. Oh, so it might be a test case. Oh, well, that's interesting because Waller. One thing about Waller is, as soon as you think you got him lay tied down to something, he does change.
Always seems to be one
He's adaptive.
step ahead of the game.
Another point about Winetails, Aaron, is that going into the yard last time, I didn't think she improved to the level that I thought she would. So she's still got quite a bit of upside to her.
Oh, she's got plenty of upside. She obviously looks to be thriving with racing. One thing with mares, I don't always like to see them rip in too much. As soon as they look rock hard fit, I usually think they've got that run or one more.
Let's go. Yeah.
Thank you.
Not Winetails fans, yeah.
Yeah, not Winetails fans at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, one thing with that, look, she just looks to be thriving on her racing, and I wouldn't be surprised to see her improve a little bit more and be able to beat.
All right, lovely. Well, she's the obvious one to beat, but as we said, with the issues of in run, Dragonflyer, just a horse, but so often we see in these rails. I think as we were speaking about it, Rose Hill, what was it, 2 Rose Hills back with the 6 metre rail. It doesn't always come down to who's the best horse. Well, it often doesn't come down to who the best horses are in these races. It's getting on the bunny, getting on pace, and getting away with slow races and winning races. You're not the best horse in the race.
Yeah, I agree. I think the key with him, I know he's got those wins on heavy tracks, but I actually think he's got better on dry tracks, and I think that's the key to him coming back and winning. So getting back to a wet track, and he's up in class, I think, really, so he's not a horse I could actually find him.
Farrelitos, disappointing first up, like a lot of the B grade team from the Blue Jacket mob. And presented unders in the yard as well too.
Yeah, probably. I think he kind of just looked like he was there for a bit of a barrier trial.
Yeah.
He was there, he kind of just sat there, he made a little bit of a run, got held up a little bit and just kind of plugged to the line. I think he'll roll to the front here, stepping on troop ideal, and I think he'll take plenty of catching in a slow pace race.
Okay, and I suppose the other one is Mr. 111, who did what he normally does, paraded a bit, as he normally does first up, ran well first up, and then his normal pattern is to go missing from then on.
I think
but he does like the wet.
He does like the wet. One other, look, he's not a horse that I want to find there. Now he's $5 or $6.
Yep.
He's a horse when you wanted to find the price. One thing with him, I don't think the camp knew that he was a fresh horse before. They always kind of plug and try and get him to stay. One thing that I think they've done is not, like I spoke to Sarge, he's tried not to do too much with him and keep him fresh, and I think that could be the key to him. So it'll be interesting to see how that works out.
Beautiful. All right, Spruik time, as I said, the main thing is just free trial, grab a product, try it out for yourself is the easiest thing, but where you can also try it out, Race Speed Profile. So we've been putting up a couple of articles of the main races of the day. Up there right now is the Chelmsford Stakes, where you'll hear him talk about that a little bit more in depth shortly, but Raw Descent is immoral. But you'll be able to, if you've been wondering about what Race Speed Profiles are, you can have a look at it. Don't have the grids on them yet, grids on the articles, but that comes with it. But get a bit of a feel for what we talk about with the Race Speed Profiles and how that all works. And we'll have the main race from Melbourne, from Moonee Valley up, maybe Friday night, maybe first thing Saturday morning. But anyway, check it out, have a look at it. If you like what you see, then obviously buy the full product, so you can play with it race by race, day by day. And wet tracks are great for us for that as well too. Got a little tool called the Wet Track Indicator that we use that really isolates horses' ability on the wet tracks and how good they do go on it, actually, rather than just I've had 3 starts on the heavy for 2 wins. It really deciphers through that and hell of a lot more. But Race Speed Profiles in for a huge spring, already started that way. Jump on board. Race 3 is the Ming Dynasty over 1400. 320 Kimberley Star, Voliere 460, and 380 Kenny Essent to hold the market.
I found this a really tricky race.
All right, we should, again, not a lot happening in front. Kimberley Star probably goes more forward, being back up to 1,400 metres. Who else? Tap This, probably there somewhere. Metallic Crown somewhere
Metallic
there.
Crown probably
And Voliere
also.
not too far away.
Yeah, I thought Metallic Crown, Voliere, and Kimberley Star looked. Two of the three would take up the
Yep.
lead, and the other one take the seat. Yeah, Tap This would be around the mark. And where do you want to go from here?
Where do you want to go? Well, we'll start with Kimberley Star. It sort of looked okay the other day, but there wasn't really much guts to that race. It's been racing well. I know you hated it last start, and you hated it the start before.
I just like Southern. I hated it the last start. No, I didn't think it was going to get the race pattern to suit, and I thought the horses with slightly more ability might take it over. Look, she still looks to be racing well. If it's a horse of yours, I can't see how to get away from her.
Well, it's gay, it's on pace, it's shinny.
I didn't want to find her at the price here again, but
yeah, I mean, no, because she's a benchmark horse.
Yeah,
it's only an average horse. It's not.
Yeah,
Isn't he? She. Yeah.
Star Witness Phil.
Yeah. I mean, it's only a fair horse, but it's there. It's on pace. It ticks those setup boxes.
Yep.
Ripper. Okay, Voliere. We've seen it. Why they didn't spend a couple of $100 to have a barrier trial early on, you'd never know. It's really good. You do racing for $50,000 every week.
He's obviously a horse that, in our opinion, that couldn't win the Golden Rose. So, and I think, like I said, I took my hat off to Gary Portelli for getting Sebring's son right for those earlier races.
Pick off the low-hanging fruit.
Exactly, and it's something that they should have done with all the eggs. He is a talented horse, but he's just off some of the super.
If he was revved, he wins these. He's probably got 3 runs next to his name, or close enough to it.
He looks to get his chance here.
Well, he should. It's almost like pulling teeth watching his level of increasing fitness. It's almost like he's improving 3/4 of a length every start, and that's from a base where he needed to probably improve 5 lengths. The thing that might help him, he did have a big mid-race squeeze last time. That's normally a really good sign to bring them on. So he might. Well, you'd think that he after fourth run in now he should be almost at his peak. And what does that mean? A Voliere at his peak is that good or is that bad?
Yeah, it's good. It's good now. Look, it's probably one of the weaker Min dynasties that I've seen.
I'll name your top 10.
Yeah, that's true. That is rather true. But look, in saying that, it's a race where he does have the fitness on his side now. He does have it. He's had the runs. He's been running against slightly better horses than I think what is in the field, and he probably gets his chance. Where you got a couple of question mark horses that are going to be coming all wet track.
Kenny Essent.
Well, one thing that I brought up going into the race was I thought that there is that chance that he's a wet tracker. So if I am right, he's definitely going to be.
Yeah, he's a bit of a wet track type.
Look, I think he's a lovely horse. He should have finished closer. He did get held up. Whether he wins or not, I don't know. But I do think that if Caffey gets him wide here, he's going to get his chance. Whether he's good enough. From the mounting yard, how much improvement would you say?
Not much. No. There's not much. There's not a lot of improvement apart from going to a wet track, and obviously, there's natural progression. But no, there wasn't. Out of that race, it was probably close to the pick of the yard, which was from memory, was a pretty common parade. But he was one that was all right and didn't really have a huge amount left.
Yeah, look, I think he looks a nice horse, and this is his first prep, and I think he's going to come back a far better horse next prep.
I think that's the answer to that question. I think where he gets his improvement is by growing and going out and coming back. His big spike comes second preparation. Okay, Metallic Crown, 4th up, first prep, coming out of a midweek win at Warwick Farm. Anything?
Look, it's a horse that the Waller stables had huge raps on, and I'm guessing this plays, if he wins here, he's a horse that will be going to the Golden Rose.
Really?
Chris labelled it as his Golden Rose horse a long time ago.
Okay.
So he's one that's made that slow progression. Well, you go through his runs, look, if you forgive when he got beaten the Devil Hawk, where I think he was just flat because of his huge run first start, well, you've got to forgive him for that. If he gets a soft lead in front, well, he's going to take plenty of catching. How he goes on wet tracks, it's still, I'm not 100%.
Fair enough. Okay, so from a betting point of view, that race, what do you...
From the betting point of view, I want to see how they parade in the yard. I want to see what they do in the first 2 races. And it's a race where I could quite easily have very small bets, possibly on horses like Tap This and Gold Ambition. just because I think they're big odds, and I don't think
Yeah,
I think anything should be that bigger odds in the race.
No, I think that's a very good point, because the form that apparently looks good is not much good from the horses that are carrying up the percentages. They're only really benchmark +1, and it doesn't take much for a horse to elevate to get above that.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a very good point. Race 4 is the Furious Stakes over 1,200 metres. Speak Fondly, $2.80, English $3.80, and around the $7 or $8 mark for Ottoman, Perignon and Serene Majesty. And worth noting that the marketplace has said, go away Team Hawks with Blake Geneva. You want to start favourite this time? You can be $14 now.
Oh, they did that to Sabug midweek. It was $3 out to about $10, and he came back and showed that he can win.
Yeah, but that further enhancing the point is it'd be nice to know what has actually gone on there. But all right, another issue for another day. Leading wise, Aaron, it just looks like Speak Fondly again does what she likes in front with. And who have you got coming over?
I think Serene Majesty could go there.
Yep.
It's one. I think the camp usually like to have them back, but I think she could be there. Fireworks will race closer because it's got the blinkers on first time. I wouldn't be surprised to see over race a little bit and be close. Ottoman will be around the mark. English blinkers first time.
For first time, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think she'll be too far away either. So I think it's not a race that's got a lot of pace, but I don't think that it's going to be Speak Fondly loose lead or anything like
Fair
that.
enough, and Shinny maybe even Speak Fondly, and then you got the Gay from Gay, and then that makes it a little bit delicious.
Yeah, I could just see Shin taking
just going bang. Yeah, exactly. Okay, let's start with English, horse that you've been spruiking from the trials. Excuse me. bit tied to Speak Fondly from the trials, actually.
Yeah, it was. They trialled together. Like we said, leading into the first race, it's been the big spruik for Speak Fondly. She's come out, she won, she had the race to suit, she won. Well done, Noah. If you're going off the trials, in my opinion, you couldn't compare her to English. Looks the far better sprinter to me. She looks to be sitting there and she could have exploded past her. I could be wrong, but from what I've seen at the trials, out of the two, as sprinters at sprinting trips, English is a superior horse, and she'd shown that.
How has she come on? Because she was a bit of a wet track type, I suppose, early on, but her wet track form doesn't read that way. Has she grown, or is she going to be a type that is suited to the wet?
Well, that was
to this wet, I should
one
say.
big thing that I think the whole reason the camp was so pumped on Speak Fondly was because Speak Fondly had grown and developed, got a lot bigger, and they said English going to come back the same, and they'll go. They'll hope
perfect for tomorrow.
Well, it could be perfect for tomorrow if it's the fact that she handles it. Look, on the dead track, I was kind of rather confident. On a slow track, there's still that if.
Yeah, good.
Yeah,
All right.
She's one that I was rather confident in.
And Speak Fondly, we saw that. Should take note too. Like, while Speak Fondly's overall numbers weren't sensational or anything like that, she did spend the last 200 metres inside the lane. So and she got away. It was a very slowly run race. The last section was adequate for that, especially when you factor in that probably you can knock a length and a half off for being drifting into the lane.
Okay.
Drifting inside the lane into the slow part.
Okay.
What?
I know, I just said okay. I was choking, actually.
Okay, fair enough. Lake Geneva, it's the zero on the roulette wheel. We always, there's no really. Do we want to speak about it? Are we only going to?
Well, I think we skipped one in Ottoman.
Ottoman, yep.
It was the highly spruiked horse from the camp. Last prep, she won. She won her races. She was around the mark with all the fillies. She looked to be up there in the line with the fillies. She's trialled really good. The one thing with her, she trialled next to Exosphere.
Yep.
And the two of them kind of went away from the rest of them. She just looked like to be going good under her own steam. One thing we noticed with the O'Shea camp is those project horses seem to be a little bit more forward, have a little bit more TLC.
Yes.
She could be one that gets that.
Okay, all right, lovely. So do you got anything to add on Speak Fondly, or that's about it? And
well, one thing with Speak Fondly was she looked rather revved up, fresh. I think she's been in work for a long time.
I wouldn't exactly say that she's come back. Look, I mean, the way that and it makes her a better horse, but I wouldn't exactly say her type is saying wet track type. She's become quite solid.
She has become quite solid, but God, she was ripped fit for
She was good. Still a little bit of improvement.
Oh, there's improvement.
But not, she was ready to rock. Serene Majesty, what are we saying about it? It's sort of the one from out wide. Big win at Canterbury.
Huge win at Canterbury.
Why not?
Oh, I was overly impressed with her. I loved the trial going into the race. It was a horse that I bet right up on and had a good result with. Look, but you couldn't be more impressed with her win. Yeah, they might have gone slow early and she sprinted, but the way that they were all there, she sprinted, she put like 5 on them like that. So, looks a talented horse. Wet track for her, I'm not 100% sure. She is by Fastnet Rock, and she is a pretty muscular little girl.
Right. Okay, that might All right.
It could be interesting.
Stay tuned to Appropriate Alive for the update on that, or the Manning Up Mail from Glenn Pollitt, which you can choose as a free trial. Anyway, from that point of view, we're keen to be looking at it. We're both, I think, we're on the same page a little bit. I'm interested in Serene Majesty, but want to see what its wet track tightness is. English is the other one, and with due respect to Speak Fondly, but I can just see Shinny controlling this.
At this point, I'm against Speak Fondly, and the three, the two you mentioned, and Ottoman, because it seems quite a big price currently.
And if Lake Geneva wins, it's never. That's it. Punish show's been called off. Race 5 is the Concord Stakes over 1,000 metres. Before we should do that, there's a couple of tournaments going on, Aaron.
There are tournaments?
Yeah, there are tournaments going on. Just check out the site. There's a Randwick tournament. Glenn Pollitt is going to be in the Randwick tournament this week. $100 buy-in, guaranteed pool of $5,000 for the prize money to go around. So that is a very appealing one. Plenty of people should jump on board with that one. And with that, you get a free $50 bet with Top Better.
Beautiful.
So yeah, so you get your entry price slashed in half straight away. So I think it's $110 buy-in with the rake, and betting on Chelmsford Stakes tomorrow, taking on Glenn Pollitt, who is due to win one very soon. Bombed out last week, but
he'll be very excited with the rain coming.
Yeah, exactly, exactly right. So tournament up. Start. If you haven't given them a try, give them a try. But if you have given it a try, $100 one's a great entry level. Buy-ins, you can buy in at least a few times. There might have even been unlimited buy-ins this one, but whatever the case may be, you can have a few shots at the title if you do bomb out early. So just set yourself up. Tournaments, happy days. Concord Stakes, 1,000 metres, and about $4.40 all four of them. Ball of Muscle, Shiraz, Craftiness, Atmospherical, and Fell Swoop on a shoe. Has it been scratched yet or whatever? But it's going to be.
Fell Swoop's out.
It is out officially. Perfect. All right. Okay.
The other one that could come out, if the track does stay up as heavy, I'd be expecting Atmospherical to come out.
Okay. All right. So it looks like Ball of Muscle, Bang, and then who's probably the likely favourite, I would imagine, maybe. And then you got Huey and Blake sitting on Glim, which is actually quite interesting with Shiraz and or Craftiness.
It's quite an interesting play, that.
It is. It's very interesting, because I think you're going to gravitate to Craftiness. I'm probably going to gravitate to Ball of Muscle, and I'm going to be on Glen with my two favourite boys stalking him.
Yeah. Does it make you feel warm and fuzzy?
No, it doesn't. Not at all. But I'm envisaging Ball of Muscle, Glenning, then going away. Rail 8 metres makes me feel happier about all that situation. All right, okay, that's the pace. Ball of Muscle. What do we say? Just loves this course and distance, loves the wet, loves first up.
If you had a look at him as a type, you wouldn't say he's a wet track type.
Oh, but the same with his relations as well too.
They just love it. Yeah,
they're the exceptions to the rule, but it is what it is, and he is, and all of it. To use that often used phrase in this game, he ticks a lot of boxes.
Yeah, he sure does. Yeah, look, it's a race I'm really keen to watch, but a race I'm probably not overly keen to bet in, because those three horses that you labelled that are all going to have similar runs, and it could come down to a race of tactics. And I had a slight lean to Craftiness from the trials, just mainly from a trial point. Look, I'm not against any of them. I think they're the three. There's probably one or two roughies depending how the tracks do, if they do get wet, like really wet. But other than that, I think they do look for three, and it's not a race that overly can play with.
Well, I think Ball of Muscle is a fair price apart from that concession about being Glen in front, stalked by Blake and Hugh. I think Craftiness is going to be better beyond 1,000 metres and better with a run under his belt. And Atmospherical, I think, is a very good horse who is better at 1,100 metres and better with a run under its belt, and is also then going to be further.
Like wet tracks,
not great on the wet, and is going to be further back than those ones. And what again doesn't look like a fast run 1,000 metre race. And then Shiraz. What are we saying about Shiraz? It has presented the two runs that we saw it in Sydney, presented right at the top of its game. It's gone to Melbourne and raced like it was out there, and from Warren's reports the same thing.
Yeah, what did you say? I loved its win. Any horse that can fight back on the inside.
That inside position down the straight, I don't care how the track's. It's just it just seems that horses just don't seem happy doing that. And I think it was great. It's run good numbers, solid numbers for this. But the thing is, it's now back. It's fourth run back. I know it's a month between runs, but it is fourth run back 1,200 metres back to 1,000.
The horse is just flying.
It's airborne. The horse is
absolutely
career best form
airborne,
for sure.
Yeah. Just seems to be improving. Tony McAvoy seems to have the key to the horse.
Yep.
Like I said, it's a race I'm super keen to watch because I think it'll be an exciting race to watch. But at the moment, the way the market's got it, I don't think there's a lot of edge in the market.
Yeah, no.
They've labelled the 3 horses and.
Fair. All right, the one horse I wouldn't mind mentioning is a strange training change, isn't it? Lionel Cohen to David Payne, but Aeronautical.
1,000 metres just threw me off. If it was a,
It could be the best horse in Australia.
it could be. It could very well. He's always been a horse of mine.
It could be the best horse in Australia.
Yeah, he's got some incredible runs there.
Yeah.
Under interesting training.
And tactics and all that, yeah, exactly. We'll go from 1,200 metres to Doncaster and all that sort of business. It works. Anyway, but it'd be interesting to see how it goes. I mean, like, I wouldn't be surprised to see it come out, blow them away and win by 6. But, you know, then again, I wouldn't be surprised to see it do nothing as well either.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, okay, let's move along. That's Concord. I can, with the right rail yard thing, I can easily play ball of muscle. Yeah.
Look, at the moment, I'm not overly keen on playing the race. I just want to see how the track is for starters and see where we all are.
All right, Chelmsford Stakes, race 6.
So I'm excited about it.
Here we go. Hartnell is $3.20 favourite, and Pornichet, Raw Descent will start favourite here. It's currently 4-1. Kermadec about the same, and Pornichet about the same. And that's if it already hasn't come into favouritism. All right, leading. Now this is interesting. It looks like a slower race than last time. Pornichet probably leads, does it, with Raw Descent up there again, and depending on if Chris wants to do something with one of his others, maybe Hawkspur, and I suppose I'm Imposing isn't too far away.
I wouldn't be surprised to see Shin take off a little bit more here and ride. Actually, I think there might be a little bit more pace in this race
If they decide
because
to play,
kind of the opposite. Because I think we looked at the race the other day when Zaratone was there, and I thought Zaratone would go along with a good tempo, but he actually didn't. He went slower than usual, and then the race went slower. But for the fact that he's not here, I think Pornichet is quite dour, but he's fitter. So I think getting a roll along is going to be what he needs and to win the race. I wouldn't be surprised to see him actually go a little bit quicker than first thought.
Good point. Anyway, okay, so how you worked it out? I'm mad keen on Raw Descent.
Yeah, you are rather keen on Royal Descent. You've mentioned a few times. Look, if the track does get the heavy, stays in this apparent heavy range, well, look, she's going to be the one that's going to be heavily supported. If the track was closer to the dead stage, like slow to dead, I was super keen on Hartnell.
Yeah,
if he paraded
you're
forward,
really keen on his trials. What have you liked about his trials?
It's hard to explain. Sometimes you see something in a horse. It's like when we saw Fiorente win the trial here before he won the Melbourne Cup. Sometimes you just see a horse that he's just thriving and just wants to go. They said, like, there was talk that he was going to a Melbourne Cup. I'll be very surprised to see him go to the Melbourne Cup. I think he's definitely more like a Cox Plate horse. He looks super fresh at the moment. He looks very keen to race. I think the mile is perfect for him first up. And because he looks so fresh, he's one that's not going to be too far back. I wouldn't be surprised to see him sitting 4th, 5th or 6th.
But even
close enough to
even I mean, like you've got your theory about the pace, but even 5th and 6th is probably if it's run at the pace that I think it might be run at. 5th and 6th is probably almost too far back to be giving starts to Pornichet and Raw Descent as well too.
Yeah, quite possibly.
The point the overall point I want to make about this race is that we often see with these races with the horses that have configured their way into the setup. Yeah, maybe like a horse like we're saying, that it hasn't got the ability of others, but they're on pace, they're there, and they've got all the favours, but they don't have the ability. Yeah. We're talking about 2 horses here in Pornichet and Raw Descent that are right up there with the ability levels of all the other ones. Yeah. They're tracking at the same level of them. They've come back just as well, if not better than the others. They're going to improve the same level, and they're the ones getting the favours on pace. So I'm saying that there's not much between all of them, but in class and overall class and where they can get to eventually, but then you've got this massive advantage of where they're going to be as well too. Yes. And then combining that, not just with the pace of the race, combining that with what the favours that the 8 metre rail gives them as well too.
It's an it's going to be an interesting.
Put it this way, it's not shithouse horses in front getting favours and getting away with it. It's bloody darn good horses on pace getting favours and I hope getting away with it.
Okay, yeah. I'm going the other way. I thought Kermadec's run was outstanding first up.
Yeah, I agree with you.
I think he can settle a little bit closer, like going up to the mile. He's still too fresh. Like, I thought he had more improvement in him as well compared to Royal Descent. In looking at them, They're the two I want to be on. I just want to be on Hartnell and Kermadec. I think they'll sit a little bit closer than people think, and I think they will be the two that fight at the finish.
Lovely. I think they're big. They're big pluses if they can find the outside lane.
Yeah.
That's the
if the track does go the other way, I've got one at 50-1. Whether it can win, I'm not 100% sure, but it can definitely place and run a big race, and a 2-shot the Barman.
Okay. Yeah.
His runs for fresh have been very good, and he loves the wet track.
All right, lovely. I think my one at big odds is I'm Imposing. I think it.
It's one that's been trialling exceptionally well.
It looks like it's revved up as a 10-year-old, but it looks like it has a bit of a feel that this could have been Waller revving this up for this race, knowing that he's got 25 other runners that are just going to be back running on. This could be, like, because it's been poking around these better races for a while. He might have thought, well, we'll rev it right up and give it its chance at it.
Well, yeah, I mentioned that actually in that trial article that will be online today.
All right, but it's a
10-year-old that seems to be improving.
No, it just keeps coming up, and the trials indicate that it's right. But I mean, it is. It's talking about place chances at 40 or 50-1. But I'm Royal Descent from Pornichet, from Hartnell, from Kermadec. Well, sorry, Royal Descent, bang, Pornichet next, and those three. Bing, bang, bing, with I'm Imposing.
Yeah, I'm Hartnell, Kermadec.
Yeah.
Royal Descent, Pornichet.
Oh, I'm not going to be surprised because I've got huge respect for all of them. But just that way, and I think Royal Descent is up.
There we go.
Tramway Stakes over 1400 metres is, I should mention obviously no Mark, Darren places Mark as well too, and all the other prizes, just check them out. You've heard of talk about them enough, check them all out over the site, pick your free product, go from there. Tramway Stakes over 1400 metres. Lucia, these markets will change with the wet track, but it was Lucia Valentina $10, Messine $7. First seal favourite $3.60, Arabian Gold $8 will probably start favourite, and they're the ones around the market at the moment. And I'm not regarding the emergency, so that could all change as well.
Yeah, I didn't do much with the emergency.
No, okay. So didn't expect 20 to 30 miles a run overnight. Yeah, anyway, okay. Pace wise, Aaron, it seems what it is. Messine, Ecuador, Strawberry Boy, and maybe Hooked. But Hooked, they tend to pull out on the wet tracks too, so we'll see how that goes.
But he could be wrong.
Yeah. Okay, so they're the sort of the four, but again, not overly quick horses over 1400 metres.
Okay, where do you want to start, Dallas?
Where do we want to start? Let's start with.
Why don't we start with the seal?
First seal, yeah. Why not Pose?
You want to tell us?
No, if you rewind the tapes, I was big on her last time, but I think she's proven herself to be a bit below this level, and I don't think she likes the wet. I saw her last week. They can tighten up a lot, but she's got a lot of improvement from it's hard to get in context unless you see her on race day, but after the gallop I thought, geez, you've got a long way to go. And first up, and an awful map position.
And coming back off a minor foot abscess, was it?
Yeah, all that. Tommy Berry.
You never want to see horses have foot abscesses of any kind going into big races.
I just think it's got a mark that can win the race, but I think if the others come to play, they've got it covered.
Yeah, I think so.
Well, it comes down to a ranking order, and in the pecking order, she doesn't make my top four.
She looks a gamble at $10, but at favourite, you want to oppose.
That's about right.
Look, I wouldn't be surprised to see Tommy just get into a nice spot, track into the race, and somehow win.
And come right down the outside.
Down the outside. Because she is a talented horse, and there's nothing against her. But I wouldn't be surprised to see it. But at the price that she is, I'm definitely betting against her to hopefully see her not.
I'm the same. It's a horse race. Things happen, and not often the fastest or best horse or whatever wins, and things can configure that way. And she's close enough to configure herself into victory. But I'm gambling against, as you said. Okay, we started with her. Arabian Gold is a horse that I think looks one of the better bets in the card. Barrier 15, a little bit of a worry, but will come in. Oh well, who knows what happens with the emergencies? I don't guess that. Gay, first run for Gay, trialling enormously, yes?
Wow. One of the horses that just looks to be absolutely flying. One thing on her though is that she's always been a horse to have trialled good.
Yep.
But she's trialling exceptionally well, and one thing with her, she probably actually looks a little bit more forward. The one thing with David Van Dyke is he seems to be one that, like that Guy Walter approach of let them race fit. Yeah. Very rarely does he set them for a first uphill, and he really just lets them come along, where obviously Gay likes to have them rock hard fit. She's not an overly big horse, as you know.
Yeah.
She's not a very big horse, so one thing with her is it probably won't take her very long to get fit. I've seen her at the track. She does look fit, and she looks a very good winning hope first up.
Yeah, no, I think it's highly likeable, and yeah, as I said, the wide barrier where it gets to, but she should just lob just behind those 4 we mentioned, shouldn't it? So should be in the right zone, whether it's wide and all that. But
yeah, I couldn't imagine seeing it too far back, and in the big field, I do think she'll find cover there somewhere.
All right, okay, so we're tick Arabian Gold, and that's definitely a market mover. Okay, Flamingo Star, a horse that you found over the Brisbane Carnival. It sort of had a barrier trial first up and then went enormous, going way too fast in front and then still returning a good number after doing that.
If he had the blinkers on that day, I would have won. He's a horse that looks desperate for blinkers. Yep. It's one thing, I already asked the camp as well, they know he's a blinker horse.
Oh, okay, so...
I think from what I've heard, like when in that Cheers interview as well, I think they're looking towards an Epsom. That's the race that I think they're targeting with him this time in. So one thing with Chris is he'll usually give them one run, let it find the line, and then second run probably put the blinkers on and give it a good workout in them, and then target.
So you're thinking we're scared of him, but we're going to let him go.
Look, if he's at a big price, I could quite easily chop him out, and I'll be having a good look at him in the yard to see how forward he is. He has got form on wet tracks, and he's had 2 very quiet trials, but 2 very nice trials. So I think the horse is flying, and I think he'll run a race.
Messine is a horse that we've mentioned quite a bit on the show. Paraded as big as a horse can parade first up. Trimmed right down, but still had plenty of it. But so might be coming to the top of his game. He doesn't really love the wet, and I don't know. He is the horse that can put himself there, can configure himself to it. But I know we've talked up his best previously, but I think that's a bit of an illusion, and it's from the camp that you can't play.
Yeah, he's like you said, he's at 0 in the wet wheel.
Yeah, I think so.
He's very at the price he's at, like $7. I can't find him here. If he gets out to $12, well then I start thinking maybe he's over the odds.
Yeah, so we can see he gets all the favours there in front. But do keep an eye out from what we say in the yard, because that's the big point. He could easily improve 3 or 4 lengths on how he was presented last time. So if you liked him, keep an eye out for that and go with that, and we'll try to bring you that information for sure. Out of the rest, obviously, there's a lot of first uppers.
Sway Ness has got to be a scary one, I reckon.
Sway Ness, yeah, sort of went a little bit missing last time after, some interesting rumours.
Well, he's two second up runs were outstanding.
Well, he was building into it, but then
building into it beautifully.
And then the betting told you on the day that he failed that he was going to fail.
Yeah.
Lucio Valentino, I'm sure will have support. Could easily find the fast lanes again. Race is okay first up, and obviously is a wet track lover.
Yeah, I think she flies first up, and she loves the wet track. I wanted, because she's around that 10-1 mark, I was still happy to oppose her on a dry track, but the fact that the rain has come, and if it is quite wet, well, it brings her right into the race.
Especially if they are getting off the fence and it is becoming a race to the outside, she should be able to, she's that right profile to find that. And the other horse, it's somewhat, yeah, I'm really getting a feel it needs real good pace.
Yeah, that could be it. Could just need one more real good run.
Yeah, that's right.
He was one that we thought
he was the furthest behind out of all of the rock stars in the last preparation. I wouldn't be throwing him out. I think $12 is too big a price.
Yeah.
I think wet track definitely not in his favour, and he's a horse that will love he's probably more of a chance in an Epsom than he is in this race, because he wants that real good, solid pace, and away we go. Sweet spotting, getting in the right spot, pulling out all.
Another horse I was a little bit interested in at a bit of a price, surprisingly, was Famous Seamus. Now that's the wet track, I've probably lost a little bit of interest because he does like dry tracks, but he's one that seems a weird. He's always a sprinter. He kind of came back. He looked a little bit more dour last prep, and I think this kind of looks like a bit of a target race for him. But,
the only thing is, I'll just go against what you're saying there. 1400 for me is out of limit for him, and out of limit first up, I never really warmed to all that much. But you're saying you think he might be beyond 1400.
Yeah, I think one thing with Randwick 1400, it's that soft 1400, and sometimes they can get away with it, and it's not a race that looks like it has it's got a lot of pace.
No, definitely not.
You can't. So that's he could just sit there, could sit a bit closer.
Yep.
Yeah. If the track does get to a dry track, I wouldn't be surprised to see him run chicken runs.
I'm never going to bag my mate Famous Seamus. He's provided some many big nights, Aaron. Anyway, so beautiful. All right. Okay, that's race 7. I'm overly keen on Arabian Gold with the right look from the parade.
Me 3.
Perfect. The final event is again over 1,400 metres, and it's Start Wondering, $2.80. Should remove the 2, and then it's the rest of them just poking around there. The next pick is Bohemian Lily, which we'll talk about as well too, but doesn't look a lot happening pace wise, and Start Wondering should just get that beautiful Hugh Bowman stalk.
Yep, I'm happy with that speed, mate.
All right, let's start with it. First up, didn't really set the world on fire numbers wise, but it was that awful Rosehill 3 wide position on pace, where normally you go backwards, especially when you first start, but it won, and won in figures that were good enough to say that it's a better horse than this grade.
Yeah, that was quite an arrogant win. Like he was there to give up. The other horse was on his bum. He quite easily could have spat the dummy out and said this is all too hard, but the horse just looks a fighter.
Yeah.
It has that goodwill to win. It was a horse I was super keen on going into the race, and he's and one thing with him, he's not overly big. Like he's got that nice athletic build. I think wet track should be fine. He's fit. He's more forward than what a second up horse usually would be. He's probably close to the third up now, I would assume. And I think he's going to take a lot of beating.
I think he's going to be contesting better races and being a factor in better races. And then I'll forget who's done the job beautifully for us. Then a lot of these horses, this is almost a Wednesday race or Wednesday-ish race, and for the start of where they're at, and he is better than that. I'm a little bit disagreed in the Wednesday-ish race. Yeah, so there's a couple of horses there.
I think Sadler's Lake's a highly talented horse.
Ability when anything other than dry, he's a Thursday horse.
Yeah, that could be. It's going to be a big question for him.
Yeah, this track is whatever happens. This track isn't going to be dry enough for him.
One thing with him though is that last time Chris was looking for a derby. I'm not 100% sure what he's looking for with him this time, but it looks like he's a hell of a lot more fresh. He's had only one trial.
Yeah, good for Chris.
And one thing with Chris, if he just gives them the one trial and they look fresh, they seem to run more fresh.
They do. But remember the last time we were on him and he was here and he travelled up and then he just let down and then just said leave me right out. So yeah, I mean look, I agree with you, his ability levels, but wet track no. Bohemian Lily seems to be holding a lot of market percentage for. It's a Spirit Toss that went okay in Brisbane, but it really didn't set the world on fire in Phillies races that were pretty common.
Yeah, I can see that, but at the same time, she's one that I do think does have quite a bit of ability, and I think she will make that progression from those crappier races in Brisbane. I think she will.
I agree with that.
I think she'll be a factor. Whether she's ready to go first up, not 100% sure. Trials have been good. Second trial was really good, actually. Really good. I think it's a horse that Blake Shinn's quite excited about as well.
Okay.
And I think I wouldn't be surprised if they run a big race first up.
Okay, but compared to Start Wondering.
Yeah, it's a real tricky one. This race has kind of thrown me a little bit. I've got him on top. I do have him on top, but it's a race that's frazzled me a little bit.
And Bold Circle, he's racing well this time. Him being a gelding, he's sort of racing as good as he can, and he's he put some. He's a fit horse. He's there. Wet's fine for him, and
I kind of wanted to put the sword to him and to forget. They were the two.
Yeah, I think so. But the thing is, they're racing well enough to say this is the mark to beat. This is the level you got to race to win the race.
Yeah, that's true. I think the other horses should be able to take it. I don't think either of them will beat Start Wondering.
Nor do I. But I'm saying, But again, as I said, it's a horse race. Things can go right and wrong, and they're putting a decent mark to run down. That's the line in the sand. There it is.
Yeah.
You got to go above that to win this race.
That's fair.
Okay, beautiful. Interesting day's racing. Obviously, a lot depends on what happens in the morning with the rain. We'll keep an eye on it. Check out the products. As Aaron said, why don't you try PBL with the free trial and join in, and you'll get all the updates throughout the afternoon based on what we've been talking about here and everything else and all that sort of stuff. It's probably the best way to handle it, Aaron.
Yes, and with as you can see, the sun.
So here we go. Here's more David Attenborough stuff.
The sun is here.
There it is. Yeah, there it is. There. Royal Randwick live.
Live.
Thank you, Aaron. Good luck to all.
Thank you.